name is Candace, aka Picasso Baby, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create your very own nude thermal body painting. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, thank you so much for stopping back by to paint with me. Today we're going to be working on a tutorial that's similar to something we did a little while back. So a few weeks back we did a body thermal painting, and it was actually a woman's body. So we were given the suggestion to do a man's body this time, and that suggestion was left by We Love Nay. Nay, thank you so much for painting with me. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as much as you enjoyed the first one. This tutorial is going to be super fun and super easy. If you haven't been able to check out the very first one, which was a woman's body, it will be linked down in the description. And then also, these will make perfect sets. So if you want to do both of them, you'll definitely have a blast doing it, and they'll look even better hanging in your home. A few things I'm going to be working with today. I am going to be working with a 16 by 20 inch canvas as always, but remember, you can use the canvas size of your choice. Is completely up to you. You do want to make sure that you also have something to draw with. So I have a marker and a pencil. You can use whichever one works for you, or both. It's completely up to you. You want to make sure you have some different size acrylic brushes, a cup for cold water, some napkins to dry your brushes, and then also I am working with acrylic paint. I'm using burnt sienna, Mars black, titanium white, and chrome yellow. And today I'm actually going to be working with skin acrylic paint. I did use this in the first tutorial as well, so I'm going to be using it again, and I am going to be working with the colors Nevea and Chloré. Skin acrylic paint is a small black owned business, and it is perfect for like skin tones, natural tones. So if you use things like that a lot, or if you paint like people a lot, or just neutral tones, make sure you check them out. They're a really great company, and with every purchase they do donate a meal to college students. So make sure you check them out. I will link their website in the description as well. Also, before we get started, if you are 21 and up, make sure you grab yourself the adult beverage of your choice. If not, just grab yourself something different, or grab yourself a little water like me. And as always, I am drinking from the Coldest. Make sure you check them out also in the description. And let's go ahead and get started. I am going to start by drawing my guy out, and I am going to draw it in pencil first, and then I'm going to go over it with the marker. If you just want to do it in marker first, it's completely up to you. Just really be careful, because with the pencil you can go in and like to erase the lines if you don't like how something comes out. So I do suggest going in with the pencil first. So the first thing I want to start with, I am going to start with his waist. So I'm going to pull a little line across, and I'm not going too high up. I just want to pull a line across for where I want his waist to be, and then I am going to curve some lines down, and I am kind of giving them just a bit of a small curve. I don't want to make them like super hippie, but I do want to just pull those lines down and kind of curve it in towards the end of it. And then I am going to actually go in as well and pull a line right down the middle. And then from there, I'm going to curve or just pull a straight line across. And I do want to, so I'm pulling it up just a bit. I do have a little bit of space under there. So I have that space under there. Now, where I had started with that middle line, so I have the middle line going down and I have this line going across, I'm going to make a little triangle. Or it doesn't have to be a perfect triangle. You just want to kind of create a gap. That way, we're going to put a little piece of the background showing in there so you can see that his legs are separate. And then I am going to go in and I'm going to pull a line right down the middle again. And I did leave a bit of a gap at the top, so about 3 fingers space left at the top, and I pulled a line right down the middle that meets up with this line. And from there, I am going to pull out 2 curved lines And you don't want these curved lines to go out more than his leg area. So you don't want to take them out too far. But I'm going to pull those lines out. And then I'm going to go down, and you can decide how many lines you pull out at this point, because these lines are going to end up being his abs. So if you want 4, you do 4. If you want 6, you do 6. It's completely up to you. But I am going to pull just those 2. And from there, I'm not going to do anything above these 2 top curves. What I'm going to do is on each side, I'm going to connect the curves. And you see how I kind of made it a bit of a wavy line? So it's like I'm coming in, going back out, and then there we go. So now I have his body area, right? So now I'm going to curve up a little bit more, because I want the top ones to be a little bit bigger, because that's his actual chest. So I am curving those up a little bit further, and then I am going to go back down to this first ab. So right in the middle of that curve, I'm going to curve a line over and then one down, and that's going to be the inside of his arm. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Over, down. And then I am going to go up here and cut his shoulders off by making a curve. So if you can see that with just a pencil, then you are completely fine. I am going to go back in and do it with marker. That way you can see it really good. So I'm going to do all the same things again. I did start with his boxer line, and then I curve down. Again, I didn't curve too much or too far out, because I didn't want it to look really like hippie. And then I am pulling lines across for his briefs, and I'm going to make a little triangle in the middle for a little gap. I'm going to pull another line right down the middle, and then I made that W for his chest area. So I'm just going to go over all of those previous lines that I made. All right. So now that we have his actual body on there, what I'm going to do to create that thermal look, I'm going to be creating rings in each area except for his boxers. I'm not going to worry about the boxers, and I'm not going to worry about the background at all. I'm just going to be making those rings in each area of his actual body. So for example, what you're going to be doing, let's say I start off with the arms, and in the previous one we did about 5 rings, so I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to that way the set matches up. If you did more or less rings than your first one, then remember, you just want to match it up to whatever you did in the first tutorial. So for example, I'm just creating a little curve here, right? And then I'm going to create 4 more lines around it. So I end up with 5 sections, right? So same thing here. I'm going to start right in the middle, and I'm just creating a bit of an oval. Or you want to, wherever you're at, you want to create a shape that's similar to that shape. So for example, if I was in the chest area, I would just, create that. So again, I have that ring there, and I want to end up with 5 rings. So I'm going to do another one in there. And see how I have that ring there? I want to end up with 5 rings total. So that gives me 2, 3, do the 5th one. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. And you do want to try to match these rings up to each side. And I'm doing the same. I'm going to do the same thing in the pecs. I'm going to do it in this arm. The only place I'm not going to do it is up top here. I'm not going to worry about that, and I'm also not going to worry about the small parts of his legs that are showing. So now that I have all of those rings in there, I am not going to do a marker line on the rings. If you did your rings and marker, you're completely fine. I'm just not going to do a marker line over them just because I can already see them pretty well. I just want to be able to see the other outline. So now I'm going to go in and show you how you're going to be filling in each ring. So I like to work my way from lightest to darkest. Or you can work the other way. You can work from darkest to lightest. You just want to make sure that you're doing one or the other and that you're not going like in between. So again, I'm doing a nude. I'm doing a nude thermal body painting. So I want all of my rings to be like different shades of nude colors. If you are doing a different color, like let's just say you decided you wanted like red thermal body or a green or something like that, you're going to do different shades of the color that you choose. So the color that I want to be the lightest is going to be in the middle, and for that color I am using the skin tone Clo-Ray, and I'm mixing it with a little bit of white. Or again, if you don't have these exact colors, what you can do is mix up brown and a really good amount of white to make it super light. And what I'm going to do is, again, I like to start in the middle. And I like to work my way out. So I'm going to do 2 at a time. That way you can see them. So now that I have that, what I'm going to end up doing is I want to start to go darker. So I'm going to take that same color, my Clo-Ray or your brown and a lot of white. And what I'm going to mix it with, I'm going to mix it with the Nivea. Or you can just add more brown to it to make it a little bit darker. So you see how it's getting darker around there? That's exactly what you want. And if you kind of go outside of your rings a little bit, do not worry, you're completely fine. But what I'm going to do next, and I'm not washing my brush in between these either, I'm going to take some of my burnt sienna, and I am going to mix it with some of my Nivea, because again, I want to go darker now. And then I am going to wash my brush off this time, and I'm going to use my burnt sienna by itself. For the last color, so my 5th ring, I am going to mix up brown and black. So I'm mixing up my burnt sienna with a little bit of black. You don't need to mix a lot of it because it does turn dark really quickly. So a little bit of that black mixed in with some of your brown does go a long way. And I'm just now filling in everything around my rings. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to get everything completely filled in the exact same way like that. So going from my lightest ring out to my darkest ring. But what I'm also going to do, because there's a few areas that, remember, we left without any rings. So those 2 areas are the legs, and I'm going to be using the darkest ring. So ring number 5, whatever that darkest color is for you, just paint the entire leg that skin tone or that color, and also the entire chest area up top. So above the chest, that's going to all end up being that darkest tone. And once you fill all your rings in, you'll see how it ends up working out. But again, all I'm going to do is repeat this process everywhere that I have those rings drawn until I have it completely filled in. So we're just going to work on that for a little while, and then we will move to the next step together. All right, so once you have each of these sections filled in, so his arms, his abs and chest, and then also his legs, what I'm going to fill in next, I am going to fill in his boxers. Now, I am doing his boxers and the background black. If you want to do them a different color, it's completely up to you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to a larger brush, so my large flat brush, and I'm getting those boxers filled in first. And I'm just going to be filling these completely in. What I'm also going to fill in, and you can switch to a smaller brush for this part, but remember that little triangle that we left, the gap we left between his legs? I'm going to be filling that in as well. All right, so now that I have that filled, I'm going to go back to my medium-sized round brush, and I am going to fill in that little area in between his legs. So I'm just filling in that little gap that we left, and I'm filling it in with black because that is going to be the color of my background. If your background is going to be a different color, make sure you fill that area in with the color of your background. But what I'm also going to do before I paint the rest of my background black, I want my boxers to stand out, so I'm going to add some highlights. So for my highlights, I'm dipping it into white. I didn't clean the black off my brush. I'm just picking up white. And where I specifically want to put this is especially like along the edge, because of course that's where the boxers and the background meet. So I'm just doing a quick one across the edge. You can do a very quick one across the top as well. And then I'm going to add a little special detail by just, I'm going to make a bit of a line kind of like right in the middle, or if you want to add something extra to it, I'm going to actually do a bit of a curve. And I don't want this to stand out a whole lot, so I want to make sure that I'm kind of blending this in with the black. And then I'm also going to do small ones right across here. And I'm actually going to pull that down a little bit. And again, just so that it's not standing out a whole lot, I'm going to clean my brush off and go back into the black, and I'm going to make that line a little bit thinner. So again, I did those lines on the side. I did a curve there, almost like a backwards J or a hook. And then I did those lines at the bottom. Now now that that's going to stand out for my background, I want to go ahead and get my background filled in. So I'm going back to the big brush, back to my black paint, and I'm getting everything that I left open with that white filled in with black. Or remember, if you're doing a different color background, you're going to get it filled in with the color of your choice. All right, now once you have everything completely filled in, you got your background, your boxers, your man. Once that's all filled in, the very last thing you want to make sure to do is just simply sign in your name. If there's any extra details that you want, you definitely can add whatever you like, but I'm just using my smallest brush, a little bit of white paint. I'm going to sign my name, and now you have the male version of our thermal body painting. Thank you all so much for painting with me today. And again, special shout out and thank you to We Love Nay for suggesting the male version of our thermal body painting. If you would like to check out the female version, remember the link is down in the description. That way you can create yourself a nice set. And as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Leave some suggestions in the comments, and make sure you turn on those post notifications so you don't miss the next tutorial. See you all in the next tutorial.